It's an air freshener.
You made me laugh and I farted it. All right, this is another HXP show special. We got Michael here with me, and we're playing some stupid games on a Sunday afternoon with alcohol. So this one's called This or That. So let's get started. Michael, you've got all the topics.
Yes, yep. I've got a few here.
First question.
So kind of spreads between a few different topics or genres or whatever you want to call it. But we'll go through them one by one. So first one, Mission Impossible or James Bond?
James Bond. Yeah, I'd prefer James Bond. Easy.
Yeah. I am going to say Mission Impossible. And the only
right.
like James Bond is a bigger franchise and probably has a lot more to choose from. And I think they're especially the latest stuff, when those films really worked, they were fantastic. But I think the Mission Impossible franchise is really, maybe apart from maybe number 2, there's not really a bad film in there.
Whoa. Are you okay to drive? I mean, a minute ago you were dead.
See, I can't really. I watch a Mission Impossible movie, and the whole movie I'm like, what's going on? Like, I feel like they're just going out. It's like basically it's a professional version of Jackass. It's just like, let's just go do crazy stunts, and let's not worry about why we're doing them. Let's just do them because what's his name? Tom Cruise. He'll do it. We don't have to pay a stunt double. Let's just get him to do it. It's easy. Whereas the James Bond.
I think half those crazy stunts are his idea. Not like, let's make them up because he'll do it. He's the one that's pushing.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably more like the producers saying, no. We'll get someone else to do it.
He's like, I want to do this up thing.
Because when you yourself up, production stops because you're in hospital. Head, stop it.
You know what? I think with the last movie, I mean, maybe the last few, they do the most dangerous stunts first thing.
Yeah, because then it's easier to cancel it.
Because if he dies or if he like really injures himself, they can just pull the plug. And
they haven't spent all the money yet. Yeah. That's smart. But look, see, I don't actually like the only Daniel Craig 007 James Bond movie that I liked was Casino Royale. I didn't really like the rest of them. I feel like they kind of went down the same path as Mission Impossible, and they sort of got a bit like, what's going on? Like, you're just being, it's just stunt movie. Even the explosions don't even draw me in. I like the older James Bond's movies. Like, I like the
you love the Pierce Brosnan one, right?
Pierce Brosnan. I like Roger Moore and Sean Connery. Yeah, like even the other ones, like what's his name? The Aussie guy.
Yeah, it's not Dalton or something, is it?
No, that's Timothy Dalton was one, but he's not the Aussie. There was I can't remember his name, but there was one Aussie that did it. He's was good as well. I should know. He's like the only Aussie James Bond.
The name's on the tip of my tongue now. Hang on. Australian James Bond.
Like
George Lazenby.
Lazenby. That's him, yeah.
Good morning. My name's Bond. James Bond.
Yeah, I liked all those ones better.
He only did, what did he do, one?
One. I think he only did one. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my choice. All right, what's the next one?
Okay. Sticking with a similar kind of theme, Jack Reacher or Jason Bourne?
Well, I haven't seen any Jack Reacher.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got to watch them too. And I've seen one Jason Bourne movie, The Bourne Identity. Really? And I liked it. It was good. I liked it. So I'm going for Jason Bourne, easy.
Yeah,
I've seen more Jack Reacher flicking through TikTok than I have watching in the movie.
Yeah, he's big on the socials.
Yeah.
I love the Jason Bourne films. I thought that the action, like the fighting choreography and stuff was amazing.
One thing, when I watched Jason Bourne, I thought, you know what? This is just a recreation of The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Hey! What? I still got this fucking gun.
That's a good movie.
Gina Davis. That's the same movie. And Samuel L. Jackson. Same movie. But obviously they just did one.
Am I right in assuming that the Bourne movies are based off books?
You might be.
I know Jack Reacher is, like Lee Child's books. Yeah,
is the Bourne identity based off
I feel like it is, and I feel like the books would predate The Long Kiss Goodnight.
The Bourne Identity is a 1980 spy fiction thriller by Robert Ludlum. Tells the story of Jason Bourne. Yes.
Yeah, so the one thing that makes me go against Jason Bourne is that, yes, it first introduced the cool shaky cam, and it was a unique kind of approach with we're cutting here, we're cutting there, and my cameraman has Parkinson's, and it's also energetic, you know what I mean? But it got really extreme by the end of the franchise, and then it started everyone doing that shaky cam stuff, and part of me gets annoyed at that. Like, I like it sparingly, but it did start a bit of a trend of...
Oh, you do kind of sound like Snoogs when he's talking about Rob Schneider. What's his name?
Zack Snyder. No, the difference is I love the Jason Bourne movies,
shaky cam.
but Jack Reacher right now has a special place in my heart.
I'm gonna cut you, gut you, and leave you.
I don't know if it's just because it is new, but I do absolutely love it.
I should watch it.
You really should. It's cool. Season 2 is only on about episode...
Oh, it's a TV show?
Yeah, it's a show, yeah.
Oh.
No, it's good. Bro, watch it.
All right.
So I'm gonna pick Jack Reacher.
Okay, good. All right, very good. What's next?
Okay. Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Horror.
Yeah, comedy, easy. I'm not a big horror fan. I'm more like thrillers than horror. Because like when I think of horror, I think of movies like I'm only having really old references now, like The Gate. Remember that?
Gate.
That's really old. It's that movie where there's like demons that come out of like a portal underneath a bed or something in someone's house. Oh no, he's digging in the backyard. That's right. He's digging up the backyard for some reason, and then it like opens a portal to hell, and all the demons come out and shit.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think it might
Can't
be.
picture it, but that does sound kind of familiar.
Who?
Hang on.
I can't remember who that is. The Gate, the movie. There it is, 1987.
Stephen, what's his name? Dorff, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Stephen Dorff is in it. Yeah, he'd be fucking young. But yeah, that's what that's what came to mind. The Gate. But yeah, like movies like that where it's just like a pure gore fest, and you know, for scares and stuff. I don't hate them, but I prefer comedies. I like a good comedy.
Yeah, horror for me, definitely horror. I'm a big horror movie buff, so give me anything gory and violent and scary and stuff like that.
The Thing.
I don't know.
The Thing, I reckon, is probably the best horror movie.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best movies ever made, to be honest. But
Well, I wouldn't know if I go that far, but it's an awesome movie.
yeah, I would definitely.
Clear.
Classic. But yeah, I don't know. Comedy, I find there's a lot that doesn't make me laugh.
Well,
You know what I
when I
mean?
say comedy, I'm talking about like the good comedy. I'm not talking about shit comedy movies. Like I'm talking, and fucking obviously people will disagree with me, but Jim
Yeah.
Carrey, like Ace Ventura, or even The Mask.
Spectacular! This land holds great beauty.
Those movies fucking killed me. They were so funny. Good.
Liar
comedy
Liar
movies.
is probably one of.
Oh,
my
Liar
favorites,
Liar is good.
actually.
That is a very good
Yeah.
one.
I can't lie!
Yeah, but that, like those ones, I really enjoy, and I enjoy sharing them with other people as well.
See, I find when I picked it, I was thinking if I'm only watching this genre for the rest of my life, even bad horror movies I can sit through because sometimes they're even funny. But a bad comedy
So
to
you
sit
like
through.
comedies? Ooh.
But a bad comedy to sit through is more painful. You know what I mean? Like I find that the worst of the horror is easier for me to watch than the worst of comedy. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
fair enough.
Definitely that.
All right, next one.
Okay, tough one for you. Predator or Alien?
Predator.
Maybe not so tough.
Not so tough.
Are you talking character or movie?
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are we talking Predator 1, Alien 1?
That's a tough question.
No, like these are we talking about the first movies?
Well, you could probably take the franchise as a whole, really.
If it's franchise, well, franchise would probably have to be Aliens, like the Alien franchise. I think the franchise for Alien is better, but Alien versus Predator, the first movies, Predator every day. Like the Predator is just like sophisticated with weapons and the heat vision and all that sort of stuff, and he's sneaky. Whereas the Alien, the first movie was awesome, love it, don't get me wrong, but slow burn, and it's like thrillerish territory where it's more the hidden aspect, and they didn't show it off too much and all that sort of stuff. Still an amazing movie. Like I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 versus Predator's 10 out of 10 sort of thing. It's not like a hot and cold sort of situation, but Predator is my choice.
Yeah, I find Alien was definitely a scarier film than Predator because, like you mentioned, the slow burn.
Yeah, absolutely. More of a horror, but if it's just what I prefer, Predator. Oh, it was so fucking good, man. And the amount of one-liners, because it's an Arnie movie, like the quotable lines from Predator is through the roof compared to Alien. Like, what quotable lines
Get to the chopper.
Huh?
Predator gave us
Get to the chopper.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
And then there was things like not well known, but I love them. Like, I ain't got time to bleed. You got time to duck?
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh. Okay. You got time to duck?
And what about
Arnie throwing the big machete and it sticks a guy to the pole and he's like, stick around.
Stick around.
Yeah. Can I just say on this real quickly?
Yeah.
I love at the start, right? He's like, we're a rescue team, not assassins. And then you cut forward a little bit to this moment, and they're running in there. Old mate's carrying a Gatling gun off a jet.
Yeah.
Arnie's just pumping grenades all around the place. You know, we're not assassins. Let's raise this place to the ground like nothing is left. Yeah, but if I had to choose, I'd probably also go Predator because it's a classic,
masterpiece. Yeah, I love that. My favorite is in the helicopter, and you got Jesse Ventura offering the chewing tobacco to. I think
everyone.
Was he the director? I think he was actually the director of the film. That guy with the glasses on. He's offering him the tobacco, and he's like, "No," and he goes, "Bunch of slack-jawed around here. This stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaur, just like me."
Bunch of slack-jawed around here. This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me.
Oh, that's the best. And that movie brought
it's one of those lines
Long
you couldn't
Tall
get away
Sally.
with these days, right?
You know, Long Tall Sally, the song at the start?
Yeah.
That brought that into my life. And if I hear that movie, I'm instantly like pepped. It's so good.
I actually watched it last night.
Oh, Predator.
It's probably a bit early to be doing this, but I started showing Harry Predator movies.
And there's...
I'm like, he's 7.
Why not? He's old enough. There's also a scene in Predator where I would like to greet all of my friends like this. The part where Arnie and
you're talking about their handshake,
Carl, where it's like, Dylan, you son of a bitch, and then they're like the full dick, dick measuring contest of who's got the biggest guns, and like,
the CIA got you pushing too many pencils.
Yeah. I see the CIA has got you pushing too many pencils.
Dylan! You son of a bitch. What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils? Huh? Had enough?
Make it easy on yourself, Dutch.
Okay. You never did know when to quit, huh?
It is classic, bro.
Ooh, see, I love Alien, but I don't have those moments like with the film where, you know, I can quote it as good as this. Like what's in there? I don't want to put it down because it's a different film, but it's just
really
not as
compare them on that front, right?
No, but it's Predator for sure, easy one. All right, what's next?
Okay. This one may be harder. Terminator or Robocop?
Oh! Once again, this does vary with franchise versus first film, but I think if we're talking first film, it is hard.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Robocop.
Yep.
I love Robocop, man.
And like Paul Verhoeven's just like out there-ness, like he's just so, what's the word? Like there's that, he's definitely aware of all the tropes and he just like leans into them and makes them so extreme.
Is that the director of Robocop?
Yeah. Like, and the ultra violence and it's one of those.
Yeah. Can
almost
you fly,
like
Bobby?
films.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no!
Hit it!
I think I've just realised I like a movie if it's got quotable lines.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
But yeah, the scene with the guy who was thrown in the ooze, like the chemical waste, and he's like faces melting away from him and all that sort of stuff, like super gory. But then the whole concept of Robocop being a cyborg, and I think with that movie, even today, Robocop is not dated. The design, Like, it is perfection. Like, you know, you watch some movies and the aliens are like, you look at them today and you're like, they look really pathetic. Like, the designs were just poor. This, like, Robocop's design just still holds up today. That metallic look to him was so excellent. Like, I really was upset by the new remake of Robocop when he was black for most of the film. Like, he had that matte black rubbery kind of look. They eventually did give him that metal look, I think, at the end of that newer one, but it was, it didn't quite work. But I just love it. And you look back at all the detail that they went into, where I think he had his, like in the original Robocop, he had his original hand, but they were saying, no, get rid of it, cut it off. Like, they didn't, I can't remember it exactly, it's been a while. And there's that scene where it's looking out of Robocop's eyes and they're talking about, and he's like, no, get rid of the arm, make it robotic. All that sort of stuff. Like, it's all just brilliant detail, and the movie was great.
He's on.
What's the story?
We were able to save the left arm.
What? I thought we agreed on total body prosthesis. Now lose the arm, okay?
Jesus, Morton.
Loved it. They pulled that off.
It brings up 2 points there, what you're talking about. One, this unnecessary trend with like reboots or remakes where they make it like you have to earn the iconic imagery of the thing that they're rebooting. You know what I mean? Like, they want to put their own spin on it, and you sit through the whole movie, and it's not till like right at the end where they're like, oh, and now he's like that one that you loved from.
Yeah.
He was black this whole movie, but like, oh, let's give him a respray and make him chrome now.
Yeah.
So the next film he'll be. We don't want to sit through a whole thing. Like, the reason we're here watching it is because we love the original movie, right?
Yeah.
Just make chrome like he was originally. Like,
remake it, put your spins on it, but keep it at least faithful to the things that we love. That's marketing 101.
Yeah. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, if you're pulling us in on a familiar IP, you know what we like.
But I feel like
they still could have done the whole the combat mode thing, and you know, when they were in the new one, and they were talking about the balance of the robot and the humanity, and they could have still done all that and put their own new spin on Robocop. And
I feel like the directors and that, when they do these reboots, they feel like that if they just remake the original and take all the ideas and make them new, that they will be sort of pigeonholed as somebody who's succeeded from somebody else's work. So they try to change it to make it their own, and then it just doesn't work. Like, seriously, they missed the mark with that, I think.
Yeah, and there's obviously a little bit of like, you get a creative person in and they want to be creative. They don't just want to replicate.
Yeah.
Like, if you just want to make what somebody else wants, just go work for Marvel Studios. But, you know, there's still that fine line of like, if you're bringing a cult classic kind of film back for modern audiences, you have to keep the basics the same, right? But like you were saying, with the Robocop not being dated, you could apply that to really any of these last four that we've spoken about, which is I think why they've been so consistent through pop culture. Like Predator, Alien, Terminator, Robocop. Even to this day, there's still designs that are just absolutely badass.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm just going to be probably a bit different to you. I'm going to go Terminator, just because I really like Terminator is one of those ones where I'm like, depending on the day, I like it more than Terminator 2. Like, it's very different. Terminator 2 is a lot more blockbuster, popcorn movie, more action, where Terminator has that horror undertone. And I guess in a way it's like Alien and Aliens. Like, Alien was that
it's exactly like that.
Slow burn horror kind of thing. And I just loved Arnie as the bad Terminator. Yeah. Like that threat, you got Kyle as like a human, and Arnold was just so like threatening and just, relentless. And as great as, it's like what you were saying before, I think Robocop maybe 9.5 out of 10, but Terminator may just be that 10 out of 10 that I have to give it the edge to. So for me, Terminator.
No, fair call. No, very, very good movies. Yeah, hard to split them there, but
yeah.
Very good. Right.
Disney classics or Pixar movies?
Oh.
So like you got, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King,
Anastasia.
that kind of stuff.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Fantasia.
I feel like you got like those ones on that side, and then you've got your Toy Story and your Cars and Monsters Inc. and
yeah, gonna have to go on the base of nostalgia there and say Disney classics. Yeah, and just I think that's a pure nostalgia thing. Like you say Aladdin and you say Lion King, and I'm sold. Like that was the biggest hype when I was a kid, and that gives me back good memories. I saw the very first, my first time seeing The Lion King was at IMAX in Sydney. Yeah, like the old IMAX. It's all redone now, but the original IMAX, that's where I saw it. And that was good memories.
I remember we got our first massive surround sound speaker system. Remember we had that big TV back in the day.
The rear projection?
Yeah, and it was like my hands aren't even going to fit
38
in the screen,
centimeters.
I think it was like 130 centimeters.
It would have been 100 and something, which is fucking tiny by today's standards, really.
It is. But it was like back then, and it was
a big as shit,
taller than me, and you could barely get your arms around it. And Dad had bought,
Was that when you were hugging the TV? Is that what you were trying to get your arms around?
Yeah. And then there was the big floor speaker systems, and we had those other speakers, and the scene that we'd always when someone would come over and Dad would be like, "Oh, check this out." We'd put on the stampede scene of Lion King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it would start, and you'd get the rumble, and the subs would be kicking in, and But for me, it's going movie by movie, too kind of hard to split them. But I think just the nostalgia factor of the Disney classics like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, all that kind of stuff, Lion King, I have to go Disney classics with that.
That's what happens when you're an old though. Nostalgia really kicks in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. All right, what's next?
This one, probably not as difficult. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yeah, I'm a Star Wars man. I've never really had any interest in Star Trek. I don't hate it. I've seen some of the recent Star Trek movies. I don't think I've seen much of the Star Trek show, like the originals. But I've always been a Star Wars guy, and that's really influenced by my siblings. My older brother's a massive Star Wars fan. My oldest brother, he's a Star Trek guy. He absolutely loves Star Trek. And then my next brother is like a Star Wars nut. Actually, for Christmas, I bought him a Darth Vader helmet that you can actually wear.
I've seen them.
Yeah, and you can press the button and it breathes and shit. It's really cool. Yeah, he's a nutter. I love people like that because it's so easy to buy presents for them because it's Star Wars, so there's shit everywhere. There's so much that you could buy. You're never going to double up. And it's just it's an easy choice. They're going to love it. But yeah, Star Wars for me, I was actually named after one of the main characters, kind of. So my real name is Lucas, but my brother, he wanted me to be called Luke because of Luke Skywalker. But Dad put Lucas on the birth certificate. And my brother was a little bit annoyed because he's like, it's supposed to be Luke. But then he was like, it's all right because George Lucas made the movies. So he settled and was like, okay. That's
I've never made that connection before.
Yeah. So he was all right with it being Lucas. So that's what it was. But yeah, and I grew up and I've loved, and I still to this day love every single Star Wars movie. I know there are diehard fans that hate the prequels and don't like some of the newer ones, the J.J. Abrams and stuff. I enjoyed all of them. Solo was a good movie as well. I thought they were all good. You know, yeah, there are obviously some that are better than others, but Star Wars all the way. What are you? I feel like you'd be neither.
I'm not really either, yeah.
But if you were one...
I would be Star Wars if, by the rules of the game, where we have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Apart from the new Star Trek movies, I can't say I've ever actually sat down and watched Star Trek.
Yeah, same.
And even Star Wars, I probably had more exposure to Star Wars in the last 7 years, thanks to Harry, than I have
your kid's
in
got
my
taste.
entire. He's obsessed with it. He loves it.
Good.
And it was only like I'd probably seen him, maybe once or twice prior to that. But yeah, sitting down watching him with him is really the first time I've had proper exposure to it. So yeah, Star Wars for me.
That's a win for Star Wars. All right, what's next?
Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Oh. I don't like either of them. This is hard for me. I really just would want to flip a coin.
I'm going to go Harry Potter. I don't know what it is about Harry Potter, but I think it might be the whole, what's his name? Is it Columbus? Chris Columbus, the director, with the John Williams soundtrack of the original movie. There's something kind of like, I don't know, like magical about it. It's got that same like Home Alone, same director, same.
It's great. Like
music.
They're good movies. Obviously, you don't need me to tell anyone that. But I never got into them. But I also didn't get into Lord of the Rings. And I think the biggest problem with me and Lord of the Rings is the running time of the movies was like half my lifetime. Like seriously, if I'm going to go watch them, they're all extended cuts now.
You're like a 90-minute.
Oh,
is the ideal length of a movie, man.
And Amazon knows me. Amazon Prime Movies. There's a section in there that is 90-minute movies, and all the movies go for 90 minutes. So I keep going to that section and looking for movies. If your movie goes for 90 minutes, I love you.
We were on Netflix the other day, and Sil and I were having a laugh because on my account there's a section called Satanic Stories. And she's like, "Fucking only you would have a satanic section
recommended."
on Netflix." Yeah. I'm glad my brother didn't see it. I'd never hear the end of it.
That's funny. But look, if I had to pick one, I think I would have to pick Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It's so good. Those movies, though, they're really
good. I've not watched them, and it's not. I've watched the first one definitely. I think I went to the movies for the second one, but like zoned out partway through, but not because I didn't like it. I was a lot younger then. Obviously, these movies have been out for a while. My attention was a lot harder to keep because of the long dialogue sequences, which I probably would appreciate more today. So I could probably watch them and get away with it, but I haven't yet. But I would pick it because if I had to go back and watch them all, I'd probably go for Lord of the Rings. The movies are super, super popular, and it can't be because they're shit. I think I would enjoy. I think I would enjoy them probably today if I went back and watched them. But I would pick Lord of the Rings. It's a little bit more my age. I don't have nostalgia for.
They're a bit more adult.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I don't have the nostalgia for Harry Potter because it was before. That came out after I was a child, sort of thing. So that's my answer. All right, what's next?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Or
Don't even tell me the second one. I don't care. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles it is. I never watched Transformers as a kid. Never watched it.
Really?
Yeah. If you'd have said, I was a Voltron kid.
Ready to form Voltron. Activate interlock. Dynatherms connected. Infracells up. Mega thrusters are go. Let's go, Voltron Force!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had no interest in Transformers, so easy. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I almost wore a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt.
We got the poster in the background, so that's... I knew it was going to be...
It's not actually on camera. Hang on. There it is. Michelangelo. Raphael. Yes, so yeah, easily...
I knew you were, so with that one was definitely going to be a simple one. For me, I'm going to go Transformers.
People take flight. Man, them a gather and them eyes full up of fire. The center, the gunpowder rising higher and higher. Some of them a gangster, some of them a rebel.
Just, Optimus Prime, absolute badass. And did you know Peter Cullen, who does the voice of Optimus Prime, originally did the voice for the Predator, the gurgling and stuff?
I did know that. Yes, that is a fact I'm aware of. He's done quite a few iconic things. I can't remember them to date, but that's not all he's done. But I got a lot of respect for Peter Cullen. He's an amazing voice artist. But yeah, when I was younger, I don't know, I guess because Voltron was the first thing that I was exposed to. I don't know how, I don't know why. But it was. And then I always just saw Transformers as the cheap ripoff.
Yeah, okay.
Although,
and I don't think it needs to be asked, but you're obviously a lion Voltron, not a car Voltron person, right?
There's a car Voltron? Oh, yeah, there is a car Voltron. No. Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch the, was it Voltron and the Castle something? I can't remember what that movie was called. There's a movie that I used to watch over and over again. Castle of Lions, was it called? I don't know.
Because wasn't a lot of the English stuff just, it was the Japanese series that they compiled and cut into movies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I know Mark, my brother and I, were obviously we love Voltron, but we were also obsessed with Tranzor Z, which I think was known as Mazinger Z or something. I believe it was one of the first big robot kind of things that predated Voltron and stuff.
The mightiest of machines.
Never heard of it.
And we used to hire that VHS from Blockbuster. We'd take it back and we'd rent it back out straight away. He's got it now, and he managed to somehow find the VHS and buy it. But same thing with that. It was a Japanese series that they'd cut all this stuff together and made into the movie, which I didn't find out till I was a lot older. But I think that happened a lot with those what do they call them? It's not anime, like Japanimation or whatever it is. But yeah, Transformers, man, massive sick robots that can transform into cars and trucks and the whole Cybertron war and all that stuff. I think that's
also cool. I was into the TV show Mask. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, Mask was dope.
Come see the laser.
That needs a remake. That was my shit. That was my jam. I loved that. I had the toy of the motorbike that would turn into a helicopter and stuff and would fly. That was also a favorite of mine. But yeah, as a kid, just Transformers Never managed to make its way into my repertoire, but I don't hate it. I like it. It's just not the nostalgia isn't there for Transformers for me.
Very cool.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Question 11. Marvel or DC?
Ooh. Like, in general?
Yeah, I think looking at the whole cast of characters on each one. If you read one more than the other, I mean,
Well, I never read comics as a kid.
Yeah.
It's really hard because my favorite superhero of all time is Batman. And the Marvel movies are amazing, and they have Deadpool. But I feel like if I had to choose, like the rest were gonna disappear, I'd have to choose DC because I love my Batman.
I'm 100% a DC.
Yep.
I'm a Superman fan.
Not a secret at all.
Not at all. My son's middle name is Kent. I think when I look at the actual like characters, I think DC has those iconic characters that kind of transcended that superhero realm. You know, like Superman. Like you look at the Trinity, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Like it's changed a bit over the last 10
Woman,
or so years.
Trinity?
Trinity, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what they're known as.
Okay.
And like it's probably changed a bit over the last like 10, 15 years with all the movies. And you know, you got that younger generation that now grown up with all those Marvel movies and suddenly they think they're amazing.
Well, they are. Those Marvel movies were amazing.
Phase 1 of Marvel was probably the best. Phase 2 would be the one that can maybe challenge it. But I feel after that, they just started getting very repetitive.
Well, they got too much. It was diluted massively. But there is a long period of time where those Marvel movies were brilliant. I'm not talking about the latest ones that they've put out in the last few years. I've not watched them because there was too many of them and I got sick of them. It was just like having the same thing, you know. If you eat cornflakes for breakfast every day, the first couple of days you're going to enjoy it, but after you get through the third box, you're going to be like, I've kind of had enough of this shit now. I'm trying Special K. And I'm not talking about the horse tranquilizer. What?
Nah, Special K is rubbish.
Are you? No, you can't be remembering
cornflakes every day.
Special K?
Yeah.
You're Are you mistaking shit?
Maybe. Let me have a look. Special K.
Cornflakes have got no flavour. You got to put sugar on them to make them taste like something.
You put chocolate Nesquik on them. Oh, then you're in heaven.
Yeah, well, but that's it. But Special K you can have on its own. You know what? Special K with milk in the microwave. Have you ever done that? Hot milk.
Nah. Give me the all brand honey almond.
Well, then we're going to a different territory there. But how did we get on the cereal?
It's a bran flakes, all brand, whatever it is. Those ones, you pour the milk on and you just let it get that little bit soggy. Oh, yum.
Okay, well,
we need a cereal special next. This or that, just on cereals.
Watch this shit, but
no, DC all day long.
You're DC, I'm DC.
Yeah, it's not even a competition. And if you like Marvel more, then you're wrong. So
you're a wit.
Come to terms with that.
I think Richard Wenker has a thing to say or two about you.
No. Yeah, that could be a whole other special on its own.
Next.
Mario or Sonic?
Mario.
I was never a Sega person. I don't think I ever owned a Sega system.
Yeah, I am. I love Sega. I love Sonic. I grew up with the Sega consoles, not the Nintendos. But the Nintendo was always the console that my next door neighbor had. And I would go over there and play them. I feel like the Mario games, the early ones, and I'm talking about Super Mario Brothers, the original one on the NES, versus Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive and on the Sega Master System. I feel like the Super Mario was more forgiving because it was slower paced and you felt more in control. Whereas Sonic was just like mental fast. But yeah, no, definitely Super Mario for me over the years because Sonic fell off. It was dead. The games they were making were garbage. Whereas Nintendo, I'm not even really sure they've made a bad Mario game.
The thing with Mario as well, he's actually like branched out. Like you've got the Mario, you've got the you got Mario Kart that came on the back of that. Like Luigi went and got his own games as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he got Luigi's Mansion.
And then you've also got, like, even though Mario started on Donkey Kong, you had those Donkey Kong Country games that came.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah.
On was that on the SNES? I think it was
Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother and I, we were obsessed with them. We played them so much as a kid. They were a lot of fun. So yeah, I feel like there's probably more depth to Mario as a franchise as a whole to Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic's just always the same thing.
Pretty much. And then when they deviate, it's usually garbage. Although I liked Sonic Spinball for some reason. That was the pinball Sonic the Hedgehog.
ソニックが超音速で弾け飛ぶピンボールゲームに挑戦だ。アメリカ生まれのファンキーアクションソニックスピンボールメガドライブからソニックビンゴプレゼント実施中。
We could play a pinball game, but it was Sonic instead of a ball, and it was, I liked that. It was weird.
Okay.
Pardon me. All right, next.
Mario it is. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Mortal Kombat, easy. Street Fighter was way too PG for me. Mortal Kombat, and I still to this day remember the blood code on the Mega Drive. So if you wanted to have blood and the actual really good fatalities at the opening credits thing, when you turned on the console, you had to press A B A C A B B, A B A C A B B, and then it would.
That's I think there was things you've done so many times. It's just burned into your long-term memory now, isn't it?
And there's a reason why it was A B A C A B B, which I'll tell you now. When you entered that, you would get a gong sound. It would go dong, and you're like, yes, it worked. And then when you were like, say, for example, playing as Sub-Zero, if you did the finishing move without the blood code, he would go and do a massive uppercut, and then they would be dead, and that was it. If you did the blood code, he'd do that uppercut, but their head would come off with your hand, and their head and their spine would hang out, and they would fall dead, and he would hold their head with their spine dangling and blood everywhere. That was with the blood code. And this is strange, but the code ABACABB, Abacab, does that ring a bell? What Abacab is?
It sounds familiar, but
it's an album name by who?
I don't know.
Band called Genesis.
Oh, okay.
It was on
Collins.
Yeah.
Genesis, yeah.
Yeah. So Genesis had an album called Abacab.
Yeah.
The blood code for the game on the Sega Genesis. That's not a coincidence. We called it the Mega Drive in Australia, but I think only in America, it was called the Sega Genesis. And the blood code was Abacab.
Which was a Genesis album.
Yeah, it's a Genesis album. Yeah, so
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. But yeah, definitely. Look, Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter was what you played in the arcades, and I feel like Street Fighter might have been more popular because I think Street Fighter came first. But I feel like Mortal Kombat came along and just said, "F you, we've got our own fighting game with hookers and blackjack," and it was gory and it was amazing, and it had a character named Goro.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there was something about those OG, the fact that it wasn't
the sprites.
It was like actual footage.
It
like
felt like the most real life game that you'd ever seen back in those days because it was actual like photography. Those sprites were photos of people doing the moves. It obviously wasn't motion capture, but they filmed the actual, like they took photos of the characters in the positions and turned them into animations. So those characters in Mortal Kombat 1 are like photos, but in multiple different positions making the animations. Yeah,
it had a real unique look to it back then. And then you give that like kind of that background of the lore and the mythology, and then you add the violence on top. And for me, it was...
Oh, when we were that age too, I don't know. I want to say we were like around 10 maybe. Like at that age, violence was the crux. Like if it was violent, we loved it.
Yeah. So, we may have been a bit messed up, but...
Oh, maybe it was just us. I don't know.
But yeah, there wasn't even a comparison. I feel like something like Tekken and Street Fighter might be a more apt comparison because Mortal Kombat is so many leagues above everything else for me.
All right, what's next?
Xbox or PlayStation?
Oh, that's hard.
It's an easy one for me. PlayStation.
PlayStation. Yeah. Okay.
Because I went Nintendo through to PlayStation. That was my route.
Well, I went
PS1 to...
I was spoiled. So I went from Mega Drive to Nintendo 64, but PlayStation at the same time. And then I followed on the PlayStation band and went PS1, PS2, PS3, and I went all the PS4, like all the PlayStations. But I also had the Xboxes along the way. But look, I think if I had to pick one, which I do for this, it's PlayStation. Yeah, I think the PlayStation dominated massively.
Is Last of Us PS exclusive, or is it on everything? Yeah.
Well, Last of Us is on PC now as well, but as for consoles, it's not on Xbox. That is obviously would be a deciding factor, but ignoring that, my favorite game of all time is only on PlayStation. Ignoring that fact, it would still be PlayStation. Yeah. But I've still got a lot of respect for Xbox though, because of what they're doing with the whole
Game Pass.
Game Pass. Like it's just so accessible, so good.
I feel
so
like
good value.
I like their approach where it feels like to me, and I'm not as knowledgeable on this subject as you are, obviously, but it feels like they've gone, okay, well, we can't really compete console to console, that way that we want to. So we need to give a more unique proposition to owning our system. And Game Pass, I think absolutely, and I think that especially as we transition more into digital ownership of things, and with these new consoles not even having the option of buying them without a disk drive as well, having that cloud gaming and that idea of that subscription kind of, because people are accustomed to it now with your Netflix and all your Prime and everything like that. Applying that to games where you're paying a monthly fee and you've got all these different games you can just grab and play, I think that's brilliant. That's a great strategy.
Yeah. But just over the years, over the times, PlayStation gets my choice, but with absolute respect to Xbox.
It's funny, I remember when we were weighing up whether we went the 64 or the PS1. We had the choice as kids to get one.
Is this it's a sign?
Yeah. So and it was that like cartridge or CD, like which way is it going to go, and we really didn't know. And we kept, Mark and my brother, kept seeing the number 64 pop up everywhere. It's a frequency illusion, you know? Like once you're looking for it, you're seeing it a lot more frequently. And yeah, every time it would pop up, we'd both be like, it's a sign, we'll get the Nintendo. And I constantly wonder, like, if we had gotten the 64 instead of the PlayStation, if that would have changed, you know, our gaming onwards from there. But
yeah, possibly.
We went to PlayStation 1, we ended up getting getting that chipped, and that just opened it up to many more games as well.
I got the Nintendo 64 first, and I don't know if it's because it released first, I don't remember. But I got the Nintendo 64 first, and I loved the games that I had on it because it had killer games. It had Super Mario 64, which was a out of the park game. It had GoldenEye. It had Blast Corps. I love that game, or Blast Core, however you pronounce that. And it had all these awesome games on it. But once again, my next door neighbor, he had the PlayStation 1. And I just loathed, not loathed, what's the word? I longed for it because he had like super awesome games on there, like Reloaded. He had the FIFA games on it, which were great. It also had Apocalypse, which I really liked. It had the
was that the Bruce Willis one?
Yeah. It had the Die Hard trilogy, another Bruce Willis game. It had so many really cool games on it, and I eventually got a PS1 as well, so I had both. But I had the Nintendo first. The PlayStation just killed it, and then obviously Metal Gear Solid, can't forget that one as well.
Yeah.
You introduced me to Metal Gear Solid. You're like, oh, you need to try this game, and I hired it, I rented it, and subsequently took 2 days sick off school and played it.
When I think back on those, Metal Gear Solid, the Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, Resident Evil.
There was some fucking amazing games on that system.
But here's a fact about me that no one will ever care about. Metal Gear Solid, the original one, is the first full-length AAA game that I ever finished in one sitting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, played it in that day that I had off. And then on the second day that I had off, I played it again and did the VR missions. I think, did they have VR missions in the original? I think they did, but only a limited amount. And then they eventually released more on another disc. But yeah. All right. So that's...
Since we're talking, before we move on, what the Nintendo 64, you mentioned that. What were your thoughts on their controller? Did you think that was a big mistake, or did you think that was kind of revolutionary?
No, was fine with it. Didn't care. And I stand by it, by the fact that if you use it enough, you get used to it, and there's no issue with it. I thought it was revolutionary. Going back to it, I'm going to struggle because nothing has ever been similar again. But I didn't have a problem with it back in the day.
Because it's funny, you look at all the
I was used to
controllers now, and they all do the same thing. Joysticks with D-pads. 64 was, to my knowledge, was the first one to give you the option
both,
of both, right?
Yes, because the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, did not have analog sticks. It was a D-pad only. And the Nintendo 64 had both. Granted, it was a strange configuration and only had the one thumbstick. But it was really strange because when you played a first-person shooter like GoldenEye, the C buttons, which were your face buttons, was your movement. So the top button was forward, the bottom button was backwards, and the left and right was strafing left and right. Kind of like what you would have on a keyboard today if you played keyboard and mouse. And the thumbstick in the middle, that was your look. Up and down and around, and you turn. It worked.
Yeah, right.
It's not by today's standards.
And they had the triggers behind them, right?
The trigger was underneath the thumbstick
middle
sort
one.
of thing. Yeah, middle one. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was the Z button. Yeah, It was very different. By today's standard, it's not intuitive because it's not what anything else uses. But back then, because that was what I was using, it was intuitive. I learnt it and it was great. I'd be shit today, but back then I had no problem with it. I liked it.
Yeah, interesting. I feel like Nintendo do kind of unique things, and they open up doors for other developers and stuff to kind of progress further down that way. But then Nintendo move off and do something completely different again.
They've always been innovative. They try different shit. And
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly. And they found and they slowly move in the direction where it works. And I think they've done amazing. That's why Nintendo is still a powerhouse today. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Graphics or gameplay?
Gameplay, easy.
Yep.
Yeah. Graphics can, if it's good graphics, can make shit gameplay bearable. But gameplay can make, when everything else sucks, but the gameplay's good, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And Lethal Company is another fucking perfect example. That game's graphics are balls, but the gameplay's good. So it's good. Nothing else matters when the gameplay's good. So I think the gameplay is paramount, but the other things can save bad gameplay sometimes, not always.
To a degree.
Yeah.
I think I'm exactly the same. Really good gameplay, you can overlook bad graphics if the gameplay is a lot of fun. You could have the most beautiful game, and you've probably seen that a bit recently with some like of the more modern releases where they look really pretty, but the gameplay is a bit, how you going?
Yeah.
And that it doesn't matter how pretty it is. It's if it doesn't engage you on a game.
Exactly. Now, I think graphics is probably last on the list of importance because there's a game out there that's called, what the is it called? I can't even remember what it's called now. It's a walking simulator. It's the first walking simulator that I ever played. And
not Death Stranding.
No. This is a lot older than that.
Oh, right.
It's like a girl's name. It's like someone's story or something like that. Anyway, you literally just walk and there's no gameplay, right? You literally walk. And as you walk, there's a voiceover and the graphics are nice. Like for its time, the graphics were amazing. But the thing that saved that game and made me play it through was the story that was being told. So the story is more important than graphics as well, I think.
Yeah.
Because there was no gameplay. The graphics were nice, but they weren't mind-blowing, but they were good. But that story was key. So I think that if you had three things and it was gameplay, story, and graphics will come last every time.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Where would you rank story and gameplay?
I think gameplay is number one, is paramount.
Yep.
But story? Oh, actually, no. In putting a little bit of thought into it, I think maybe story, because I will play a game to its end that is horrible gameplay or boring gameplay simply because the story has kept me engaged. Like, what happens next? And this game that I'm talking about, that I can't remember the name for, had no gameplay, but had story. And the story kept me going. I think story is paramount.
I would probably say I'd put gameplay slightly ahead of story. As important as story is, like you've got to be engaged with it. I feel like even if the story is a bit lackluster or not as thorough or as deep or whatever as you want, if the gameplay is really engaging, I'll keep doing it. If the story can be really, really exciting, but if the gameplay is a little bit boring, I think I might check out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's different for me. The game I'm talking about is called Dear Esther.
Okay.
You basically walk and to narration of the story. So it's kind of like a slightly interactive novel. So it tells a story as you're walking, and you go through a path, and it talks about things. Very little happens. It's really just kind of landscape. There are a few things that sort of trick your mind a little bit along the way, and it doesn't go for very long. But I still played it to the end. I was still dragged all the way to the end, even though there was no gameplay. All you could do is look around, and you can't even interact with anything, and not really much happens. But I still liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, story's probably paramount, but gameplay is also very important. Graphics is just like a sweetener. Next one, what do we got?
Outer space or deep sea?
They're both like the same almost. And both are awesome. So I'm assuming like, whether it be a game or a movie or just a theme in general.
Yep. Just keeping it vague.
I think I'm going for deep sea.
Yeah,
I like a good deep sea theme. There's been some good movies. Yeah, actually, one that comes to mind is one that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Comes to mind.
Do you remember that deep sea movie?
Yeah, that one's good.
It had like the very first like CGI stuff that I could ever remember. It was
not like The Abyss.
The Abyss. That's the one.
Abyss, yeah.
That movie was sick.
I was going to say, was that or Sphere?
We all see what we want to see. He sees hate and fear. You have to look with better eyes than that.
Because I always used to get them confused. The Abyss was the James Cameron one with with what's his name, Ed, whatever, the real intense actor.
Ed.
That was in Con Air and not Con Air, The Rock.
Ed
and he
something.
hated it.
Ed.
My brain's just not working today.
He was in Apollo 13.
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris, yeah.
Yeah. And then Sphere was the one with Dustin Hoffman. I always get them a bit mixed up. But yeah, I'm definitely deep sea as well. I find there's so many like fascinating just creatures from nightmares.
Yeah.
In the deep sea. Did you ever see that movie Underwater?
Underwater.
With Kristen Stewart, whatever her name is.
Kristen Stewart. Underwater movie.
Don't Google too much. If you don't know it, just watch it. Don't Google.
Oh.
Honestly, that was a.
So that's worth watching, is it?
I thought it was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just saw a picture of it. She looked like Eminem.
Yeah, she's got like shaved head or something. I went into it kind of blind, not knowing anything about it, and I'm glad I went into it that way. But check that out. Yeah, check that out. It's really cool. If you're picking deep sea for this one,
definitely watch it.
Yeah, I recommend that. It was one of those surprise movies for me. Jim Beam or Wild Turkey?
Wild Turkey.
Yeah. So.
Jim Beam is the alcohol that I threw up many times as a teenager.
No, I was there for a few of them.
Yeah, Wild Turkey is more something I got into a little bit later and I actually appreciate. Wild Turkey American Honey that you introduced me to, is the magical shit there.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We're actually having Dubliner's honeycomb at the moment. You had that one? Have I given you that one before?
Nah.
Oh, that's good. If you like honey and you like those sweet whiskies you can just have like on the rocks, give the Dubliner honeycomb some more.
But
like
is it better than American honey? Like I feel like
it's honeycomb, not honey.
Oh, that's the difference.
It's a bit different.
Whatever. American honey.
And Wild Turkey's one's like a bit thicker and a bit more liqueur-y. It's nice.
It is thicker, yeah. I might get one
like
of
Richard Wenk.
Good old Richard Wenk. Whoop.
Okay. Pizza or burgers?
Burgers.
Yeah.
Burger for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely more of a burger person as well. You can probably be a bit more experimental with a pizza. Vary up like your toppings and be a bit more creative. But there's nothing better than a good fat, like flame grilled kind of burger.
Oh, burger. Sorry. Yeah. No, look, pizza, for some reason, every time I eat pizza, my shit is going to be water. I don't know why. It's just like there's some sort of combination. I need to make sure I'm at home if I'm eating pizza. Otherwise, I'm going to be shitting.
So it's going to be liquid?
Yeah.
Not soft, but liquid?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. If you want to be correct, you can come and check it. Next time I have a pizza, come over.
Now, Mark showed me that, or he didn't actually show me that video, but he was playing it at full volume right near me, that one that he sent you.
I bet he did.
I'm scarred just from hearing the audio.
Yeah, I haven't watched it completely. I was, okay, that's an admission. I'm not going to say that. But I was doing something that maybe you shouldn't be doing while I was watching that video, and I just wasn't paying attention. I just saw a little bit of it and turned it off. Next question.
Okay, this is the next question. This is an addendum to that last one. Burgers. Bigger burgers should be wider, not taller.
Yes.
Right?
Tall burgers are for like seriously, trying to
dislocate your jaw to get around it, and then when you compress it, and then the shit squirts out the back.
Yeah. Make your buns bigger and your burger patties longer, sort of thing. You make them taller, you just become a mess.
Yeah. Almost like they need to be like 12 inches.
Like a pizza.
With extra cheese. And you could like divide it into nice slices or something.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, waffles.
Oh, how good is a waffle?
Yeah, waffles are better, man. They've got like it's like 100 cups that'll carry the what do you call it? What's that stuff?
Syrup.
And the butter.
Have you ever had Canadian pancakes?
I've never really asked what their
bacon, egg,
where they came from.
Cheese.
No. Oh,
I had this like years ago. I was at some cafe. Can't remember where we were. I think we were down like Parramatta Way or something. And I remember seeing it on the menu. And the first thing I thought was like, it was pancakes topped with bacon, egg, and cheese and maple syrup. And I'm like, that just sounds like all my favorite things on one plate. Like, I've got to try this. And everyone I told was like, oh, that sounds horrible. But it's always that mix of the sweet and the savory.
Yeah, sweet and savory
works really well together. And it's now like when we have like a special, like breakfast, like a birthday breakfast thing or whatever.
Or Tuesday.
Or, Tuesday's good. It's pretty special if I make it to the next one. Yeah, we'll do some Canadian pancakes. But then at the same time, when I was working, back when I was still working at the office, there was that place nearby that did the savory waffles. So it was your nice big like chunky waffle, but they had chicken and this like delicious sauce and like coleslaw and stuff on it. So it's hard, like both of them can lend themselves to sweet and savory. It's really hard. But yeah, something about a good waffle. If you get a waffle done right.
Waffles. Their pancakes aren't bad, but they're not a waffle. All right, what's next?
This one may be harder for me than it is for you. Caffeine or alcohol?
Caffeine.
You can only have one.
Caffeine.
For the rest of your life.
Caffeine.
Yeah?
Yeah. In saying that, though, alcohol is playing its role. I've run out and I need to piss. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm wearing my mic so that I can roam.
You can hear me, but like, no, I'm just going to be talking to myself.
Yeah, you can talk to yourself. Whatever.
But I guess you can cut it so it's just me talking, so it doesn't look like I'm talking to your empty chair.
And I think I've got enough noise cancellation that you won't hear my pissing. So we'll see. You tell me what were you
pissing right now?
No, not yet. Jesus.
It's really hard. There's nothing better than starting.
It's soft. I'm gonna piss. Oh, I almost missed. That's a bit on the top of the toilet.
It's almost missed.
Now it is.
It's an air freshener.
You made me laugh and I farted at
the That's very similar to one of the would you rather questions we're going to hit you with later.
Oh, Jesus.
The noise cancelling isn't quite up to scratch because I heard a splash then.
Yeah, well, it's quite a stream, well, I'll tell you, mate. All right, I'm gonna need to mop up a little. Hang on. Get a bit of toilet paper here and just clean off the top part that I laughed and pissed on the top of the seat thing. Not the seat. What is that part when you lift up the seat? The actual top of the toilet.
The rim?
Yeah, that's where
bowl?
I missed. Top of the bowl. All right, anyway, that's done. I'm washing my hands because I'm not a grub. A little bit.
I'm not a grub, says the guy who just pissed all over the floor.
Nah, there's none on the floor. I told you, it was just on the rim. All right.
Just a little rim job, was it?
Yeah. I'm too lazy to pour a drink, so I'm just going to have another grog.
That's why I'm going I went the dub liner. It's no mucking around with mixers, just straight in the glass.
Righto, what did you pick? Alcohol?
It's probably the hardest question we've had this far, to be honest, because I love both equally.
Just pick one. No one cares about your struggles.
I feel like alcohol has given me more fun, so I'm gonna go alcohol. Because there's never a wild story that starts with, oh, we had like 3 coffees and then...
Yeah, coffees end up...
Then
you want to go for coffee?
Know, but, yeah, well... I've come over to your place for coffee many times. And it's never ended like that.
Not that you're aware of. Because it wasn't just coffee. You were unconscious.
For some reason, I always wake up really tired with a sore ass.
Yep.
Boring. That's not a good story.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy yourself.
Actually, a lot of the alcohol stories probably end up the same way.
Yeah, they're similar too. All right, what's next?
No, for me, definitely alcohol. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Yeah.
I don't know. Who likes Pepsi more?
I feel like no one does. I feel like the only people that drink Pepsi are the people who ordered Coke, but the store doesn't have it.
Yeah, it's people that are deliberately trying to like go against the status quo.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Pepsi's gross.
Like people that wear their hats backwards.
Yeah, those. But like in saying that, like Coke's not great either, really. But of the two, like you wouldn't mix a drink with Pepsi. If you're having a scotch or something like that, and you have to mix it with something. Like if you're mixing it with Pepsi, it's because there's no Coke.
Because there's no Coke, that's right. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Who goes to a bar and says, I'll have a bourbon and Pepsi, thanks?
Yeah. Like security would be dragging
I feel like people would say, I'll have a bourbon and cola before they say Pepsi.
Yeah. And if you're saying cola in Australia, you're just... you're just about to get your head kicked in as much as saying Pepsi.
Well, that's violent. But anyway. All right, what's next?
Apple or orange juice?
Apple juice.
Okay.
You're just not going to choose?
I'm thinking
oh, really? It's that hard?
Harder now.
Like, there are good orange juices out there, but there's also ones too. But apple juices are generally pretty standard.
See, I really like both, and I didn't want to come straight out and say, well, I used to mix wild turkey with apple juice, because then there's becoming a regular theme of like all my decisions.
So just pick apple juice and we can move on with our lives.
But a good orange juice first thing in the morning.
Nah, orange juice in the morning is for the crows. I'll have a coffee, thank you. Remember that? Coffee? Caffeine?
Yeah. I'm going to go orange juice.
All right, weirdo. He likes orange juice.
It's going to annoy you.
It's not going to annoy me. I want you to move on.
Nike or Adidas?
Oh, two brands. Probably Nike.
Adidas.
Okay. After dinner, I did a shit.
All day I dream about shitting.
Shaft. Nike. All day I think about poor kids in China getting forced to make shit that they don't want to do for 38 cents a day.
That's a long... Is it acronym? I've had too many drinks.
I wasn't making an acronym. I was just...
You're just talking shit.
Okay, let's finish up then.
I'll tell you about a few grogs.
Nah, I'm good. I'm sober.
You got your peach flavour? That's Bowser's favourite.
I do have my peach? Yeah. As I saw a meme with Bowser, and he's like losing his mind over the presidents of the United States on peaches. Millions of peaches.
Millions of peaches. Did someone put that in the Discord?
Yeah, it was in our Discord.
Yeah, I feel like I saw it recently, yeah.
All right.
Yes, if you're not already a member, lots of wild.
Come and join up.
Stuff in there.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm not doing an outro for this. See ya.
Bye.